Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's ODTN use case team call. Thanks for joining. As usual, the call will be recorded and will be uploaded to YouTube for further consumption in the future. So I have a few updates on my side, and then I'll let everybody have their own. So from the ONF Connect for the ONF Connect demo video, it has been done, and it's currently up here in the drive folder to let you guys check it out. For the side within the rack, there was a 2NF Connect. I have a more in-depth demo. For the side at Telefonica, since the setup was then reused for other uh, demos and POCs to which Candy, which I will talk about later, there is only there's a live recording of the topology, but not of service provisioning, because otherwise it would be disruptive of the other test that Telefonica was doing. So, but at least we have showed the topology, showed the ports and stuff like that. And since the commands are the same, kind of like the same thing. So on the good side, there is so from the tip group, the Candy tip group. There is a lab trial within Telefonica that is going on in the current days, and they've been testing with the ONOS as the optical line controller that is managing the Cassini and the Alpha line system and the two ZT transponders. So the results will be presented in the future, probably at TIP Summit. So that's something to look forward to. And basically, it's just the same provisioning that we are doing, just with also two real data centers at the two ends, simulated with physical hardware that uses those two data centers. Okay. Then I had a very good call last week with Kingston. I sent some information to him about the driver consolidation. And Kingston, do you have any update on this?
Yes, Andrea. So what we had done was actually we had just looked into the different driver codes, and we are coming up with the different implementation of the different drivers. So we are just looking into the code and how the codes are different across the different drivers. So we are capturing those details in a small document. So probably by Thursday or Friday, I can float it to you, and we can just have a quick sync up and see that how to take it forward from there.
That is perfect. I think that that's great, Kingston. Thanks for doing that.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
I think that it's very good because at the moment we also, and this brings me to another update that I have, that thanks to the effort from Jakub and the ADVA team, we also merged another transponder driver, which is the ADVA transponder driver.
Okay.
And I think that I sent it to you in terms of links in Gerrit. It's now merged in the code base.
Awesome. Okay.
So that is already something that we can also work upon for the transponder consolidation of the drivers. So it's yet another
Sure.
transponder driver that is very similar to the other ones, as you know. So thanks for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I'll do is that on Thursday, Friday, as soon as you have that document ready, I will take a look at it, and then I will share it with the mailing list, so everybody can take a look at it on it before the call that we're going to have on Tuesday. And I think on Tuesday we could propose the plan for the sync up of these drivers,
Sure.
and then we can go ahead with the implementation.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect. I'm gonna also ask Ramon, who is somebody that was joining the calls before, and that now has a conflict and cannot join anymore. But he was very active, and he was one of the developers of the original OpenConfig drivers. So I'll have him take a look at this document during whenever we share it.
Sure. Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks. So yes, update on the Adva driver. It has been merged on the master repo, so we also have now capability to control the Adva transponders. Thanks to Jakub and the Adva team for making that happen. There was a small few set of comments that I had, and then it just went through no problem. So now it's in the master branch, so that's pretty good. On another side, let me, before I give the word to Jan, let me ask Ivan if he can comment on the cross connect for the cross connect RODUM command.
Hey, it's Ivan there. Yes, I can. I already have structure of the program, and right now I'm doing debugging. There is some issues, but I'm in a debugging process, and it goes pretty fine. So that's basically it. It's under process.
Okay, thanks for that, Ivan. It's great progress to the capability to add and remove the cross connections. And that is going to be already usable on existing RODUM drivers, such as the Open RODUM 2.2 and the Lumentum drivers. But I also think that's going to be useful for Jan, who is developing the check light driver for the RODUMs. Jan, any update on that?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly fine.
Good. So yeah, it's a work in progress. We are essentially following what is in the Lumentum code. I have some questions that I guess it's better to delegate them offline to Slack or something.
Yes, I think the ODTN channel is the right place. Definitely, I think that that CLI command that Ivan is working on could help you at least on the programming side. On the discovery side, it's pretty straightforward. It's just create the discovery and then forward the stuff to ONOS. Are you doing this with a simulated environment or the real hardware?
Come again?
Are you doing this integration on the live hardware or through a simulated environment?
Oh yeah, it's on real machines. Yeah, real hardware. Yeah.
Okay. Just to let you know that if you have a simulated environment for these RODUMs that emulate the APIs that you guys are using and would be interested to share it for somebody to try it out, I'll be open to hosting it.
And you guys are using Netoppeer, right? The Cessna Netoppeer 2 thingy with this repo as a backend for some of the stub devices. Is it right? Because I think I saw something
yes,
like an ODTN
yes.
later.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
We could
Right, perfect.
in the same repo we could host your, if there is an emulator for yours too, or we could make one.
Okay, I will look into this. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah. So thanks, Jan. I'll make sure to monitor the ODTN channel if there is any questions. If by any chance I don't give you any ping, I'll just make sure to
Thanks a
ping
lot
me
for
on.
your
Yeah. If I
thanks a
don't
lot for
reply
your
on
support yesterday. It was awesome.
Oh, no problem, no problem at all. I'm sorry about the 409 conflict. I'll try and see if I can address that or make sure somebody that addresses it. Also, I just saw your comment about the empty passwords. I believe we currently require a password on the device, meaning that the Netcom subsystem actually checks that you're asking for a that you're providing a password to log in into the device. So we do not support insecure connections, meaning no SSH password. We do support keys. If you're interested in supporting empty passwords, we could put that in. I think it's an easy fix to support empty passwords. Is that a strong requirement?
Not really. It was just a matter of adding a default user account. It's just that we were trying to avoid using preset passwords on these devices. That's all.
Yeah,
Don't bother with it.
I think that if you can use a preset password, that would be better, at least from our side. So there's no code change needed.
Yeah, we've already changed this locally, so don't worry. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. Oops. Okay, thanks for that update. So regarding the FAQ and the bit error rate, we don't seem to have anybody from Sterlite on the call. So I don't think there is really any update on this. I'll make sure to ping the people from Sterlite to understand if there is any. But yeah, there is at the moment no update on their side, at least to the best of my knowledge. I also wanted to ask the guys from Adva how's the progress on their OLS, and I know that you guys are working on stabilizing the code and making sure that it's production ready. How's that effort going?
So this is ongoing activity. So it's hard to describe. But
Okay.
Jakub told me that there's some issue in the TEED lab, so I will look at this tomorrow and give some feedback.
Okay, yeah, thanks. Yeah, basically the issue is that I was seeing network media channels within the port to expose the Lambda, and at the moment it appears that the newest version of software has does not reply within the TAPI context with that NMC. I know you guys have the capability because we were using it like a week ago, so I think it's just a matter of making sure that the NMC content goes into the port. If you want, I can forward you an email for this that has at least some of the things I've been seeing.
I think that Jakub collected all of the information I need, so I just need the time.
Okay.
But thank you.
Perfect. And just to make sure, is this is the latest version based on 2.1.2 of TAPI, or is that the version, or 2.1.1 or something?
No, 2.2.1.2, right?
2.1.2, perfect. That's
Yeah.
great. Great, perfect. Yeah. Also, another update on my side today is today there is the Cassini Telefonica del Peru workshop, where we are presenting the integration with the Cassini devices and the test that we will do in Peru. So I will be presenting the ONOS side of things and the ODTN project to Telefonica in Peru. So, and after that, it's going to be the trial. So we're going to get some good results, and we will publish them as soon as I can in the here in this call and in the ODTN mailing list, and so everybody can benefit from that. Also, I forgot to mention, for the video, I would like to get this published in the upcoming days. So what I hope is to get some reviews by Thursday, if there is any. And so I can give it then to the ONF PR team. Then can I upload it basically on Friday? And then on Monday, Tuesday, we can use it for PR. And I will also write a blog post, a small blog post introductory to the video. Since there is a lot explained in the video, I'm not gonna do too much in the blog post, but just a brief introduction to it. So if anybody's interested in collaborating with me on that, I'll be happy to share it. I'll mention the different companies and stuff like that. So as soon as that is up, I will ask kindly if it can be shared within your community. I think it's a good step within the project.
Andrea, do we need some credential to access this video or some?
I believe not. Can you guys try and?
Because I tried and.
Oh, maybe let me make sure that the. Well, it was only visible with the ONF. Sorry about that. Okay, yeah, now it should be visible to everybody. So please go take a look. Again, as I said, this is divided in mainly three parts or four parts. There's an introductory section where does it explain what the demo is about. Then there is a section on the local physical environment that I was having at ONF Connect, which is a little bit longer. Then there is a section within, because I do also the service provisioning. Within Telefonica, I showed the Telefonica topology based on the Nokia, Fujitsu, and ZT transponders and the Advaline system. I showed the different ports and different things within that deployment. Again, as I said, since there were some changes of the deployments from the demo to the recording that I did like a week later, some things might not show up, or I did not actually do the provisioning because the setup was being used for another activity. And then there's a third part when I do some conclusion and roadmap, basically. If you have any question, comments, just feel free to reach out with an email to me. That is perfectly fine. I think that also the Candy Teep group is going to be publishing a press release, basically from NTT and Telefonica in conjunction, talking about the effort that they've been doing in the Telefonica lab, and the same setup for this Candy PR is the one that I was using for the demo, and that's why I was not going to touch it too much, because they were doing some tests on the optical and packet side at the same time. So again, as I said, as soon as these will be published, I will share them on the list and ask everybody to make sure we advertise it to everybody. So next step is the GMPI integration. I think we got some good agreement on the different parameters. Dominique, you were correct in saying that this was defined as the HUT definition of the parameters, so that was the right definition of the parameter, and so I'm going to start this week to sketch out some subsystem in ONOS, where I'll probably have a service that is capable of contacting GNPY, and that will live in the ODTN app, most likely. And as an initial test, I'll probably create a command that just mimics the intent subsystem from a functionality perspective, but actually goes before through GMPI and then through the intent subsystem for functionality to start integrating this. I know that there is some little bit of discussion on what code to use within the GMPI community, so that's not really settled. Jan, do you have any update on that?
Yeah, we have agreed to go with the API that is shown here. So yeah, this is work which has not been merged yet, and there are some well, smaller technical issues, but the general shape of the API is going to stay in the form that it is right now.
Okay, that's perfect. Can I ask when is it going to be merged and when I can have like a complete package that I can run a few commands on and I can test against?
So the thing is that our current CI setup publishes Docker images once they have been merged into the develop branch. And we can do the Docker images also manually on demand. But do you expect that you will need a service to test against, I don't know, this week or?
Maybe by Friday I could have something that I could test against. But again, it's up to you guys. The sooner the better. I think as soon as I have that, I can start experimenting on my side. But if it's not this week, I hope start of next week. I think we could have that.
All right. I'm asking because it's something between 90 and 100 commits which have not been reviewed yet. So it's really quite a lot of code. Right. So
okay.
Let's target Friday, and but I mean it works. It's just we're trying to weed out any bugs and some other problems before it gets merged. Let's focus on Friday, and if it's not, then by Monday we'll come up with some backup plan, right? Okay.
Sounds good. That is perfect to me.
Thanks.
Great. So as I was saying, I'll create a service in the ODTN app that gets called by, for now, a CLI. We'll maybe make a UI for the demo, and in turn, that service will go talk to GMPI, come back, and then use an intensive system request for issuing the end-to-end connectivity. Okay. So that is, I think we can target first patch on ONOS that contains the structure. I would say end of this week, with no interaction with GMPI by the end of this week, also from my side. And then next week, as soon as we have the two systems in a state where they can start talking to each other, I'm just gonna start actually issuing requests to GMPI. Another thing that I would like to ask Jan, if possible, or Gert, of anybody, is to include a sample network topology within GMPI, where I can actually, if I actually ask GMPI something with this network that I can pre-provision to GMPI, I can actually ask something of it and get back the result and actually propagate this result down from ONOS. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yeah, it will be there. There are some impedance mismatches because we are also including some, let's say, auxiliary/dummy elements to somehow control the simulation. You can think about them as attenuators or just patch cards maybe. So it will quite likely, I mean, in the end, it will quite likely require some filtering so that you do not attempt to talk to each and every element that GMPI returns to ONOS, because there is no IP address or no netconf on a attenuator.
No. Obviously, I will do a lot of filtering as soon as I get the path back. But I would like to get this path back. And if you could provide this JSON or this information to the closest possible to the tip summit topology, I think that would be great. So I already start testing with something that is looking similar to the topology that we're going to have at the show. Does that make sense?
Yes, we have something very similar already. It will need some tweaks, but yes, I will get it to you.
Okay, and just an update on the TIP Summit. I think the idea is now to have the GNPY plus ODTN demo at the ONF booth for space constraints, basically. So the idea is to have the rack over there, have 2 screens at the ONF booth, and showcase the demo. And that would enable us to generate more, to have more space to talk about the stuff we're doing, because we were a little bit constrained on space doing it at the TIP booth. We're going to start an internal process to organize booth duty and stuff like this. But I encourage everybody, if anybody is coming over at TIP Summit, just feel free to stop by at the ONF booth and check this out, and give us your thoughts, or give us your discussions with us. Okay, I don't have any other update on this. Gert, Jan, do you have any more?
Do we need to match any kind of deadline from your end?
In terms of code?
Yeah.
Again, there is really no deadline. The closer we get to the demo, the less time we have to test the integration. So it's the usual, I guess. So the sooner the better in terms of code. But since we know that the 2 systems in isolation work, it's just a matter of making them talk to each other and proper filtering the stuff that I give and I get back. I do not expect this to take a long time, and I'm gonna be doing it, so there is no issue on ramping up in ONOS. So that's also pretty good, I think. Again, as I said, I'll show a patch for the ONOS side, hopefully by Friday, without the interaction with GMPI, meaning like the command, the service, and the different methods. It's just fairly simple, actually. Just add and request connectivity, and the integration with the intent subsystem in the back. I can do that fairly easily. It will take me an afternoon. And then as soon as that is done and you guys have merged the code and packaged it in Docker, in a Docker image, I'll just deploy the Docker image on my laptop and make sure ONOS connects to it. Just have to find a way to pass the...
I was wondering basically whether it makes sense to have a little bit of a kind of a little project plan. Saying, okay, this is what we need to do. This is roughly when we expect it to be happening. I mean, we don't need to have let's say a strict control, but at least to understand a little bit what else needs to be done when we're at a certain point in the process.
Sure.
I don't know if it is too much or if it is just easy going.
What I can do is that I can share a few thoughts about this on an email thread, and we can start collaborating over there. And if we see that we require a conference call, we can make that.
Yes, at least it would help me to understand a little bit of let's say where we are in the process and how much is would be missing. Again, I'm not concerned about the timeline itself and the things to be done. It's more about really understand if there's like, are we at the end or are we still at the beginning?
Okay, yeah, I will do that. I think I have a to-do list.
Yeah, email is fine.
Okay, I have a to-do list that includes the thing that I think we need to do, and I'll share that, and I'll share a rough estimate on the things that I know how much it will take on my side, and I think we can start from there. Sounds good?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So that was all on my side. Is there any other update that anybody wants to give to the team? Okay. Then, if not, thanks everybody for joining. I'm gonna report on the different things that have an action points, and we're gonna see next week the different updates, also from the Candy group and the Telephone Crypto trial. And if you have any thoughts, any comments, any question that you guys want to share, you know where to find me. And let's continue the great work. I know it's been a short meeting, but I think it's very good work that we are doing together now. So thanks everybody. Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye
Thank you.
bye.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.